Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage. Today I'm gonna clean the interior on this car. This is something I have really been looking forward to because even though it's extremely dirty inside right now, it seems as though it's pretty new and unscratched and in very good condition underneath all the dirt and the mold and all that. So I'm gonna clean it out today, the inside, not the exterior, because I would like to get the car out and wash it down with a hose. So I will not do anything about the exterior today. I'm going to show you how it looks like now, and then after doing all the cleaning, I'm going to show you the result. I'm going to film some of the progress, but it's pretty much me just taking a rag, putting it in water, getting all the surfaces nice and clean, and repeat. But it's going to be very satisfying, I think, because I think it's going to look so extremely nice inside. Another thing I will do today is the engine. I got a couple of comments from you guys saying that it sounded like the engine was running on 3 cylinders. I'm not completely sure that's the case because I think because of the missing muffler or the deteriorated muffler, it's completely old. The sound is so high that the recorder is actually distorting it a little bit. So I'm not completely sure it's running on 3, but I can understand why you would say so. So I'm going to take a look at that. If there is a misfire, I'm pretty sure it's connected to the old plugs and wires actually. But it could be down to low compression on one of the cylinders. So I am going to do a compression test on the engine today. That way I will find out if anything is wrong with the engine itself. And if so, then I really hope there isn't. But even if the compression is low, it could be just because of a stock valve or something like that. But it could also be because of a head gasket failure or something even worse than that. I hope it's not the case, but I'm going to do the test today either way, just to calm myself at least, because this car just seems so very good. So if it turns out that the engine is bad, it would be a bit of a twist. But let's take a look at the current state of the interior, which is not bad. It is just dirty, but let's take a look at it. The seats, we took the covers off in the first video, I think. This is just a lot of dust that I need to vacuum up. I've taken out the carpets on this side, or the rubber carpets. I need to take them out in the other side and underneath the seats. And then it's just a matter of getting all the cobwebs off and all the moldy, especially the steering wheel. For some reason, steering wheels are always so moldy on cars that has been standing. So we're going to clean that. And everything just needs to be wiped over with a clean rag, and then maybe some vinyl refresh stuff and some different kinds of cleaner. Let's get to work. What? Seriously, there's no rust in the bottom. Wow. So this cleanup is going to take a couple of buckets of water because it gets extremely dirty extremely quickly. Right now I'm just wiping all the surfaces, and I'm going to do the same surfaces many times, and then hopefully at some point it gets clean, and then I can begin to actually clean the vinyl or rubber or whatever it is. But take a look at this down here, the floor. I actually almost feel spoiled for having a car this nice, and out of all of my cars at the moment, I'm a bit surprised to say that the Skoda that has been left in a barn for 25 years and stood outside in the snow is actually the one in best condition when it comes to rust. Right here, where your foot normally rests when you drive the car, is almost always a rust spot for old cars in my country. And on this one, there is not even a spot. Of course, there is a rubbery substance right here that protects the plate, but still, this is extremely nice to see. I'm really beginning to think that the reputation that these cars got was not really fair to them, to be honest, because they seem to be very nice. But on the other hand, I could just have been very lucky with my model. And I can see that a lot of stuff is a bit crude. For instance, the bolts that holds on the door is just completely regular bolts. And it's almost like a door for a barn or something like that. So it's a bit crude, but it works fine. But yeah, I'm gonna continue the cleaning process, which is very nice to do because you can really see the stuff that you clean gets so nice. I really hate cleaning stuff that is only a little bit dirty, but stuff that is extremely dirty is very rewarding because it just goes from crap to almost new so quickly. Well, I'm gonna continue. And it's time for a new bucket, don't you think? See you in a couple of minutes time. So, I think the car, or it is a lot cleaner now at least. Let's take a look at it. Now check the door cards. Nice. And clean. I still need to clean the outer door skin out here because yeah, I would like to do that outside. But it is so clean. Very little rust anywhere. And the seats cleaned up completely as I was hoping. They are like brand new, both of them. The fabric is extremely thin, so I guess it won't hold up for a long while. I can understand why someone put covers on them, but yeah, take a look at this little detail. That's pretty cool. And now we have a not moldy steering wheel. And all the gauge cluster has been cleaned up. And the dashboard looks so very nice now. I think it's difficult to actually show on film, but it feels pretty new. I still need to clean the windows, but I will wait until I clean the car with a water hose later on. Look at the fabric in the roof. It's very clean and nice as well. And again, take a look at the footwells because it's so spotless down there. I mean, there is no rust to see anywhere, so that's pretty nice. This car is just such a lovely condition. You have to remember the car is 35 years old, so of course it's not completely without any faults, but it's really nice. Take a look at the bottom of the door, for instance. It is pretty nice. There is some rust right there, but it's really not that much. Because normally on a car in Denmark, this entire corner would be gone. It is not on this one. So that is pretty nice. I think this turned out pretty well. The rubber mats from the car is drying at the moment. I had to hose them off because they were so dirty. So they will get in here later. There is rubber mats, and then on top of them there was some normal car mats. I see no Skoda logos on them or anything, so I think it's I don't think it's a stock mat. And I think I will actually just keep the rubber mats because I really like the rubber interior. It's a bit Land Roverish, where you think you can, where you have the feeling you could just hose it off with a hose when you come back from the forest. That's pretty nice. So I'm just going to keep the rubber mats, I think, and throw the others away, especially if they are not original. So wow, it's a nice car. This is just turning out so nice. I think this car will be running and driving and MOT'd within a month, maybe 2, because I can't wait to get it out on the road. And it's just so willingly coming along, I think. But, as I said in the beginning of this video, there is a concern that the engine is only running on 3 cylinders. And there could be many reasons for that. But today I'm going to do a compression test on all 4 cylinders just to see if they are even and got a good compression rate. Because if the compression is low on one of them, then we will have a more sinister problem than just plugs and wires or general service. Remember, I have done nothing to this car other than put in new fuel, clean the points, and then it started. In reality, I should clean the carb, I should clean the maybe even the tank, and of course change and service the entire ignition system. I have done none of those. But I really like this thing about just nursing the car back to life, especially on this car. I just think it's a respectful way to get this car back on the road, not to just rip everything apart and clean it up, because this is so original that it's almost like last time someone touched this engine was in Czechoslovakia. That is probably not the case, but I have this feeling about it. So I would like to do as little as possible just to get it back on the road and help it along, because I think it knows the road back on the road all by itself, pretty much. But let's do a compression test. And of course we would like to see the same compression on all, or pretty much the same compression on all cylinders. I think not more than 20% or 15 or something like that in difference is okay, not more than that. And of course we also would like to see a pretty high compression on all the pistons. We don't want something like 50 psi or something on all pistons or cylinders. So what I'm going to do now is to take out all of the spark plugs, and then we're going to do the compression test one by one. When turning the engine, it's important to give the car full throttle, because that will give the highest compression ratio. If the compression is low, you could try to add some oil to the cylinder and do the compression test again. If it rises a lot, it could be down to worn piston rings. That's just a way to check that. I have a feeling that there might be a little bit of a misfire on cylinder number 3 for some reason. I don't think it's constant, it's just sometimes, so I think it's ignition related. It could be fuel related as well, but I'm not sure. But reasons for low compression could be many things. It could be that the head gasket is blown and leading the compression out and maybe into the coolant or into the oil channels or something like that. Very often, if you have low compression on 2 cylinders which are side by side, it is due to the head gasket, because then the leak is in between those 2 cylinders, and then you will have a low compression on both of them. Another reason for low compression could be a stock valve, exhaust or intake valve, or misadjusted also. It could also be because of a hole in the piston or very bad piston rings or something like that. So there's many reasons. A big score in the bore could also lead to low compression. Let's take a look at the spark plugs, because sometimes they can tell you something. This one is cylinder number 3, and I'm not sure if it picks up, but it's a lot cleaner looking than the other ones. The other ones are pretty black, so that tells me that something is going on cylinder number 3. Not sure if it picks up that good, but something is going on number 3. Maybe it's more right to say something is not going on. But well, here we have the compression tester. I'm gonna put this end into cylinder number 1 to begin with. Now, I don't know what kind of compression to expect on this engine, because I haven't looked into that. But I would like to see maybe 150 or something like that. Ready for cylinder number 1. Full throttle. I'd say that is almost 170 psi. That's a lot higher than I was expecting actually. Just below, a little bit below 70, maybe 68 or something like that. That seems to be pretty healthy in my opinion. Let's try the next one. Please be the same or thereabout. 162 or something like that, I would say. That is fine. Now comes time to check cylinder number 3. I have no reason to actually believe the compression is low, other than the fact that it is maybe misfiring or running on 3 cylinders from time to time, maybe always. But I cannot hear any loss of compression, because normally you would be able to hear it when cranking the engine if one of the cylinders is low on compression. You can actually hear it right now because all the spark plugs are out. So there is only compression on one cylinder, and you can hear it's going like, and that means that the compression is not even, at least. Let's try number 3. Fingers crossed. It's not 0, because I could hear that. Oh, 168 again, completely like the first one. So only one more to test. And if the next one is also as good as all the others, then we are very lucky. Then I don't believe the engine is going to need any kind of big work, at least. There is still the clutch that might be bad, but I don't think so. I was just told by the previous owner that they almost couldn't drive it into the barn 25 years ago because that the clutch was so bad. They were talking about the throwout bearing being stuck actually, but it doesn't seem that way anymore, at least. It's a bit early to say. I have only rocked it forward and backwards, and I'm not going to do any more of that before the engine has been serviced, because it's a bad idea to run an engine on old oil, and it's over 20 years old, this oil. So it's not lubricating as much as it should be doing. We're not going to be able to see the compression, or maybe a little bit. It's down there. Let's test it. And that is bang on 170 psi. So the compression test is done, and we have the result right here. And number 1 was around 168, number 2 was around 162, number 3 168, and 4 170. That is good compression reading, and it's a lot higher than I actually thought this engine would have. So I'm very pleased with that. That doesn't mean the car is not running on 3 cylinders though, but it means that the engine is healthy, and it's just pretty much a matter of getting the ignition system to work as it is supposed to. Maybe it's a bad spark plug, it could be many things, but it's not something to do with the internals of the engine. So that is very good news. So the interior of this car is now a lot cleaner than it was before. I still have some small stuff to clean, but it's looking pretty good. It's looking very much like a new car actually inside. I can't wait to clean the outside and the door shut areas, because that is very dirty at the moment, but I will wait till I can get this car outside and use a hose for that cleaning part. So I'm very pleased with this. And also the car smells like a new car now. Before it had a smell of mold, which was not very nice. It actually filled up the workshop from time to time, and it's not very healthy either, so it's good to get that stuff off. Another very good thing, and it just seems to be the theme of this car, and I have to keep my fingers crossed because stuff like that tends to turn, but once again the compression test showed a very healthy engine. So just like the bodywork and everything else in this car, it just seems like a new old car. And I'm still waiting on parts, most likely because of the world situation. The shipment is very slow at the moment, and I can't wait to get the new exhaust on and get some new oil and oil filter and service the engine, so I can actually see if it actually runs, and I can drive it into my garden and wash it off. But I'll just have to be patient and wait on those parts. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and the Skoda will appear soon again, I hope. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.